What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. In today's video, we're going to be hanging lines on this Mustang. Getting this fuel system all buttoned up, we're going to hang the fuel filter, or find a good place to put the fuel filter. And then we're going to mock up all the fuel lines, route all the fuel lines, and hang them up. And just make it all work, make it all fat and happy. Just get this stupid fuel system done. It's taking forever. So that's what is in today's video. So let's get right on into it. We are back, everybody, ready to hang these lines up. So I got the parts I needed. My fuel filter mount. So this thing's pretty nice. It's a little smaller than it should be, but still nice. First things first is we got to find a place to mount this bad boy. And I think I need some different mounting hardware because the holes are a little bit bigger than I anticipated. So we're going to go see where we can mount this under the car. And if we gotta go and get some extra stuff, well, we had to go anyway. So first we're gonna make a plan, see what we need, if we need anything, and go from there. So the first ordeal of the day, problem solving. So the bracket that came, it has two tabs, and I kind of thought this when I bought it, there's not enough room for both tabs. So we're gonna slice off this tab. It's a $12 thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slice off that tab and buy another one, but for today I can mount it somewhere and it'll work real good. Okay, let me walk you through this. So this is where the original fuel filter was, right? And so I took it off and I was gonna have it mounted up here, but the diff was gonna hit it and it was like 2 inches from the exhaust. So I was like, what can I do? What can I do? Then I was gonna have a line come back through this way, and you know what? None of it works. So the bottom of the fender, the spare tire area. So I got my bolt down there, and it's mounted like diagonally going up. So that's how it looks straight from the bottom. And right above the diff, it looks bad at that spot, but I did some calculations. You can see that it would never hit, and I even measured the bump stop in the back and saw how much it would move. There, the diff, it's kind of hard to see in here, but it would never hit. It's not even in the way. The sway bar can't hit it. I measured it, I even got it. The bump stop will stop it before it gets too far up. The sway bar, if it would hit right here. That's where it would come into contact, but that from there to there is a good 7-8 inches, and the sway bar can't move 8 inches, so that works out good. So then I got to get some different fittings. So I need a 90-degree here because it'll just come right off the tank, hit the 90, go straight up, and then to my Easter egg 45, you see it's blue and red. I ordered black and they gave me blue and red. The other thing is I haven't talked about is I'm going to use I'm not going to take off the original lines. I'm not using anything, but I'm not going to use the original lines, but I'm going to keep them there just in case. So this is mounted up. It's in a good spot. Got it bolted up right here. It's not going anywhere. I'm pumped. I am just extremely happy right now. But yeah, oh, you can see it kind of better here. The sway bar would never hit that either. But we do have to get some other fittings, like the 90-degree fitting and another 45-degree fitting, because that was supposed to go in a different spot altogether. And so we got to change up the fitting game a little bit. Other than that, we're making progress. I can't believe how well that turned out, to be totally honest with you guys. That was a fine. I'm still confused a little bit on how that worked out, but very happy with it, and looks like we're gonna keep moving on, keep making these lines. We got the lines mocked up. That took quite a while, and I got quite dirty too. Alright, let me show you. It's all mocked up. Nothing's like mounted, but it's all mocked up. We gotta pull it off, cut the lines to fit, and then actually mount everything on. So let me show you the routing I got for the lines. Alright, so we'll start off in the fender well. It comes out through that hole like I was saying, to the flex fuel and down, and here's the 10. and does the same exact thing, goes to actually a 90 fitting right here, and then it comes straight down. And so here it starts to get fun. So I have both the lines coming right off next to the frame rail, and then right here where the brake lines actually come over, I have my fuel lines coming over into the outside edge right next to the pinch weld, and it'll set up when it's mounted higher. It'll be nice and safe and tucked and not able to be hit. So then it goes over there, and you can see I got my subframe connector up to make sure I have clearance. And so then it comes around and it bends 90 at the torque box right here, and then it comes and goes through the top of the subframe connector, and it goes in and around, oh god, away from the muffler. Then see, those are existing fuel lines, and they go with the existing fuel line, and right next to it we'll mount it on it, and it's hiding behind them. So it's everything is about 3 to 4 inches away from exhaust over here. The minimum is 3 inches, so I try to get like 4, but everything is away. So it comes through that subframe connector and then up and around and follows this. See if I can get another angle. So it goes through the subframe connector, up and around next to the existing fuel rail, and then up with the existing fuel rail around the pumpkin, goes up and around, follows the existing fuel rail, and then it goes into my fuel filter again right next to the existing fuel line and out of the way of this guy, and it's all the way at the top mounted, and it goes into here, and the return goes down and around and into the tank that hasn't been cut yet. And so now that it is all mocked up, I have everything marked, and we're gonna cut it and mount it and call it a day. This has been my working position for the last like 6 hours, not 6 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, just underneath the car. I just washed off all the grease. That was rough. It was really rough. We have a plan. Now all we got to do is mount it. The hard part is over. Now we just got to install some fittings and be done with this. Whew. I'm tired. We're finally at the final day of the fuel line install. Oh my goodness. This is killing me. It's killing me. So, I didn't show it because I've been assembling fittings and cutting fingers and destroying hands and everything. So, I'll show you what I do for the last one. This is the first time I've ever used PTFE fitting, so I had to learn. I didn't want to talk about it until I knew what I was doing. So, now that I have ripped enough skin off my hands, I feel like I can say what I think is going on. So, I'm going to show you. We're going to put a 90-degree fitting on this thing, and then we're going to, so yeah, that's all we're going to do. So, I'll show you what I do. So, first off, I'm just going to trim the fat off of this line, off of this guy, so we're only going to cut like right to there. And then we're going to install our new fitting. Also, I always wrap tape around it just to be a little bit easier. Alright, so now that we got our fitting just like this, and you can see we got a nice little opening. So the first thing we got to do is put our end over the fitting, or over the hose. So with the PTFE, it's not too hard, and usually you can get it first try. Just like this. That's what you want. So, and then, so PTFE usually has this liner on it, this black liner. So what we're gonna have to do is take the olive and kind of just measure down. So if the olive is that thick, then we're gonna cut that much of the liner off of it, this black liner. And with this, it's woven, so it kind of sucks and it's hard to cut, but I just taking a razor blade and cutting through it. So let me do that real quick. Alright, so now that I got this guy all cut up, I'm going to peel off this black liner. Alright, when you're done, you should have something that kind of looks like that. And so then we got our olive, and what we got to do is we got to peel back some of the stainless steel braid so we can actually fit that olive over the liner. So I'm going to do that. And don't hurt the liner is the other part. So then we're going to take our olive and stick it over the top. And what you got to do is you got to shove the olive, there's a little lip inside of it, and shove that liner all the way to the lip. So I've been just smashing it on the table. And just like that, it is seated all the way in there, if you can kind of see it. The next thing is, so this part stabs into the olive, that right there. So what I do is I put a little bit of water on this end, and then I put oil on the threads. So I'm gonna get a little bit of water. So I got my water, and I'm just gonna work it in a little bit. And make sure you don't pinch that PTFE liner as you're trying to shove this thing in there. Then you'd have a big problem on your hands. And that the olive doesn't come off. Alright, and then you should have something that looks kind of like this. So what you do is you take your, first, get a little bit of oil and oil up your threads so it goes on a little simpler. Alright, so then you take your nut and you put it over the braid and you start twisting onto the threads. And you just go, ooh, and don't cross thread it, that's a big no-no. You should thread okay for a little bit, and then once it starts getting stiff, then you put it in your vise. Alright, so I made it to about there. There's probably like a good 1/4 inch, so I'm going to stick it in the vise now and go for it. So I've been taking a piece of tape and putting it around the fitting because I don't have a lot of money for AN wrenches, and I don't want my things to be too jacked up, so this is the next best thing. And the 10 AN does not work with barely anything, so you got to use a wrench. Alright, so you get it nice and tight in your vise, and I got some cloth to try to help it a little bit. I mean, this thing's still going to get a little beat up, but not too bad. Then you just start turning, and it should be pretty easy at first, then it'll get really hard. Okay, then you are done, and your fitting isn't too marred. I mean, it's not perfect. All done, ready to go on the car. So I went from, this is my first fitting I did, and then to now. So gotten better without AN wrenches, so I'm still happy. There's no gap in this, so should be stout. So there you go. There is our finished line. All right, we're back, day 564 and a half. It's killing me, man. All right, so I put some more gas in the tank, and we're gonna do our last purge. So I have rinsed all these lines out with gas. I have blown out the line. I blew out the lines, and I rinsed them with gas, and then I just want to be 5,000% sure there's nothing in the line. So what we're gonna do is I put more gas in the tank, and we're just gonna purge it. And it'll only be the feed. It'll only be the feed line we're purging, but I just want to feel good about it. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So I'm gonna squirt some gas in a bucket. Alright, so before I put the car back together, since we're done, finally, I want to show you the final routing of all the fuel lines and what they look like. And so just one thing, I think when I put the subframe connectors on, I'm going to actually use more of those P-clamps, but for now, it's all steady and it's ready to go.
One debt to society later.
Future Chaz coming at you right now. So after I looked at those P-clamps and thought about it for a second, I put more P-clamps on there. I put like 5 more. I just thought I'd throw that in here just because I can do whatever I want. I did throw more P-clamps on those fuel lines. It's just there's probably like 5 more. So I just thought I'd let you know. Okay, here's back to the video. So starting at the front, we got both of the lines coming out of the hole. We have a union right there, has a 90-degree to a union to the whatever that thing is called, to the just a straight in, and then we have our return with the flex fuel sensor that's all wired up. Scratch. So we're not finished, and this will be on the next video too, but the flex fuel sensor does not fit. I thought it would. I really did. I really did. I thought I had plenty of room. I had no room. And it is, or it just comes down and follows. So let's keep going. So then down here, We got both the lines right next to the fuel line, or next to the existing fuel lines and the subframe. And then when I felt like it, I used stainless steel zip ties to zip tie everything together so it didn't move around. So then when it crosses over into next to the pinch weld, goes down all the way back into next to this torque box area. Then it turns next to the torque box, and this is where it will be going underneath the subframe, and then it comes up and around back seat area. After it does that, it goes next to the e-brake bracket, up to where the old fuel lines were. Then it goes up over the axle tube, or the upper control arms, right where the existing fuel lines went. Then it pops out into the fuel filter, comes down and goes up into the tank. Both do. I got the return a little longer than I would have liked, but it still slides in there kind of nice. And so yeah, that's the routing of it all. It does look a little messy with the existing fuel lines on there already, but I don't think it's too bad. And we're all 3 to 5 inches away from the exhaust the whole way through. So that is the routing. So now that we're finally done with this project, that was insane. I'm gonna put the car back together, but on the next video, we will be putting the injector harness back on, but that'll all be on the next video. Thanks for bearing with me through this little video series. This was way harder than I thought it was gonna be. It was like one of the hardest things that I had to do. I had no idea it was gonna be this hard. It like threw me for a loop big time. So, god dang. So the next video, we'll be doing some stuff, but for that, thanks for bearing with me. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will catch you guys on the next video.
I'll work out. Tell my mama I'll be cool. She ain't gotta worry about her little chicken flew the coop. Chicken, little knew the truth. The sky's always falling down. Everybody's reaching out, thinking they can grab the clouds.